Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Rega Aria Mark II phono stage. Um, the Rega Aria Mark II and the Mark III, Rega says, share the same innards. It's the casework, the outside, that's changed on the Mark III. The Mark III sells for about 1500 USD retail. Again, this video is going to be broken into pieces. We're going to talk a little bit about the specification and the construction of the phono stage, and then we're talking about sound quality at the end. So if you bring your cursor to the timeline and want to jump straight to the sound quality part, do that. So coming back here, the case is casework is done quite elegantly on this as well. In fact, it's the size of a Brio. The front face is quite simple. It has your power switch, it has the moving magnet, moving coil selector here. In the back you have a moving magnet input, moving coil input. You have selector switches for flexibility of loading settings. For the moving coil, you can change loading resistance from 70 ohms to 400 ohms, and then for the moving magnet, the capacitance can be varied from 1000 picofarads all the way to 4200 picofarads in steps of 1000, 2000, 3200, and 4200. And then you have your output, and then you have the IEC power cord. So a little more about the specs of this amplifier. This gain setting is about 41 dB, I believe. And then the MC settings, this is where it gets interesting and very useful here. The MC gain goes from, can be set to 63.5 and 69.3 dB. That is a really useful feature if you're like me, especially using moving coil cartridges with very low output. I used the Koetsu Black mounted on the Rega Planar 10 to do this evaluation, and I've got to tell you, although the Koetsu is rated at 0.3 or 0.35 millivolts, it feels like it has lesser output than similar cartridges that are rated at 0.3 or 0.35 millivolts. So I found this setting of 69.3 to be very useful. Additionally, I wanted to talk about some of the expensive components and capacitors used here. The power section uses some Nikon electrolytic capacitors, and then the signal, the RIAA equalization part uses some expensive Weimar polypropylene capacitors. So it's got individual power supplies too, I believe. These are two phono stages in one, a separate moving magnet and a moving coil phono stage. I used phono stage to drive a Rega Elex R amplifier. I'll post a link to that video as well. I also used this to drive the Jolita 3502 integrated amplifier, which will be an upcoming review as well. And those amplifiers drove full range Manderstein 2CE speakers in a large room. Okay, so let's go on to the sound quality part. I'm going to try and use the same albums with some of my coming up. This one's All in My Mind by Dr. Lonnie Smith. This is a Blue Note Tone Poet release that came out a couple of years ago. And the first two tracks are Juju and Devika. I selected this album because I think the recording here is done with minimal compression, and the percussion is explosive and textured and I wanted to see if the phono stage delivers this transparency, and it does, especially at both the low and high MC gains. Even at 69.3 dB, the resolution is intact. The noise floor shows that the noise floor of this phono stage is low, and it lets all that detail in the grooves that your cartridge is bringing out, it lets it through, and it does a fine job of the RIAA equalization. There is a lot of space and definition around the instruments. There is a lot of depth and detail, and there is a lot of texture in the bass drum and the snare and the shimmer of the cymbals and the decay into the recording space. It really lets you peer into the recording environment, so to say, the studio. I picked another one, Emergency Count Buffaloes. This is also a recording that's done extremely well. This is a Japanese Toshiba pressing, and it's done with minimal compression, and there's an explosive drum solo here as well, which is track 3 on side 1. Man, the bass has heft, and it's got a lot of punch and definition. Again, we're talking textures of the bass drum, the snares, and the shimmer of cymbals. Track 2 on this is called You're As Right As Rain, which is a Bob James remake by these guys. And here is where I observed the resolution of this amplifier. There is so much detail in the rendition of the keyboards that comes through this phono stage, at the expense of a little bit of warmth. This is a little bit leaner, but in the process of being leaner, there is more resolution. I did notice the high frequencies to be a little more open than some of the phono stages I've used in this price point, but leaner in the mid-range, and fantastic articulation, like I mentioned, in the bass. Very good soundstage depth as well. Third album I want to share is Paul Simon's Still Crazy After All These Years, the Mobile Fidelity one-step pressing, fantastically recorded. Here, track number 2 is called My Little Town, and starts off with this weighty piano on the soundstage. It's very well defined, a lot of meat on the bones, sounds like a real instrument in your room. And behind the piano, you start the strumming of the guitar starts. And again, here I noticed the resolution, the improved resolution in the high frequencies, and the space around instruments. It was really well done. And then the song gets really busy with a lot of instrumentation, and the vocals are really good, both Paul Simon's and the backing vocals. The way the recording engineer has allowed capturing of the fade of the backing vocals into the recording space just comes through really well in this phono stage. So in conclusion, guys, if you want warmth, this is not the component you want to select. But if you want neutrality and you want resolution, and you're using ultra low output moving coils, this will get you there if you're looking for resolution. I have to say thanks again to my buddy Rob at No Noise Records. If you want to hear this piece in action or other Rega gear in action, go give him a visit. He's also got a great collection of vinyl as well. I'll put up a picture of his store details in the Toledo area. If you're in the Toledo area, this shop is a must visit if you're a hi-fi and a vinyl enthusiast. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to do more reviews on phono stages about this price and a few above and below this price range soon. I hope you like them. Please like and subscribe. It would help me a lot, means a lot to me. Thanks for watching.